I'll do a quick video. Working on my RV camper thing over there, and I wanted a way to get BNC connectors into my camper without having to go through the door or the window or whatever. So this is what I've come up with. So I laser cut these at work. We do have a press brake at work. We have several, actually, but to be honest with you, a lot of times it's more of a hassle to have to go bend it. A lot of times I can just go out there and really quickly cut whatever I want out of some scrap that we've got laying around, which is what this was. But getting it to the press brake, taking a, setting it up, getting the programming in there, programming each bend in and all that kind of stuff. Sometimes that is a real hassle on our press brakes. Plus, I don't know what my bend deductions are, all that kind of stuff. So what I do a lot of times now is when I'm at home, I'll design something like this. And before I leave work, I'll just go out there, spend 10 minutes, get some scrap, see what we've got out there and cut it. So now I don't have to bend it. I can literally bend it by hand. So I can just take this. It is a little tough, and I usually use a vise, but you see you can just bend that over by hand. So this right here is what this started out as right there. And then I just welded the seams up and took a grinder and just kind of worked it out a little bit. But that's essentially what I'm going to have out this. So this will be the outside part of it. But I've also got mounting bolts here, and then I've got through holes here that are supposed to be a 1/2 inch. And you can see I've got them, the little line or whatever where they actually key in there really well. So that's what's actually going to be on the inside of my camper, and it'll just be these two protruding through. But then I also laser cut a little template. So what this does is it gives me a way to drill accurately all of the holes that are in this. So you can see those are 1/8 inch holes, and those are perfectly centered there, and it is the size roughly of the box. So when I go outside, I can take my drill template with an 1/8 inch drill bit and say I've chosen this as where I'm going to mount it. Then I could get it here, get it straight, and then drill one hole, run me a bolt through it, get it, turned to whichever way is level, measure from here to here, measure from here to here, get it perfectly straight, drill the next one, put a bolt through it, and then hold this in place. And now I can just drill the other 4, and it'll be perfect as far as how I mount it. Now I did this with a piece of metal, mostly because I just happened to have access to a fiber laser at work, and I was already cutting this stuff, so I just threw it in there. I don't have the hinge yet, so these 3 holes are going to be for a hinge that goes here, and I'm going to tack weld through those 3 holes, so it'll be welded to the box here. And then so essentially what you'll have is a lid that sort of opens like this. But when it opens, the hinge, it's actually going to hinge from that point. It's hard to do this one-handed. So it'll hinge open like this and kind of sit there like so. So when you have this open and your connectors are connected in there, this is going to have like a sealant. I'm probably going to cut not this, but it's like 20 degrees in here. It is so cold. I'm probably going to cut some of this stuff. So I've saved a lot of this stuff from work. And you can see for something like this, I've got plenty of room right here to laser cut a gasket that will have all of these features in it and everything, and it'll perfectly sit against that. And this is sticky on one side. So basically I'll be able to stick that right to it. That will go through it, and I've got some threads left there that will allow that to go all the way through the camper and that gasket material. And then I'll probably use something like RTV, some of that stuff to actually seal it up really well once I get it all done. So there's that piece. I wonder if this is... That was piping hot just a minute ago. So you can kind of see the progression of... Oh, that feels good. You can see the progression from here to a finished product. So obviously this is not the same as this. What this is going to be my antenna mount for my helm sticks. So it's cold. So you can see I've got a bigger hole here, which is hopefully going to fit my little 3D printed piece there. That isolates that from anything electrical. And let's see, just a second, let me grab this little small one. So this is a 10 meter, yeah. So my plan is to have a 40 meter here and here. And so if you look, one of those is going to go here. And it's a 3/8 hole that fits the ham stick. So essentially, this, if this were a 40 meter, this is the 10 meter, will just go right into there, nut threads in there, and holds that one in place like so. Obviously the nut will be on the other side. And then this is actually where my 10 meter one is going to go, and it's got one of those bigger holes as well. So you can see how that goes in there, holds itself in place. And sorry, bear with me. I'm trying to screw this off here, if it'll come off. So the 10 meter one will go down through there. So then I have a vertical 10 meter antenna here. I have a horizontal, which is going to be connected to your ground plane here, 40 meter going that way. And then I have a 40 meter that will be connected through one of these and isolated from the box here. So you've got two that are isolated, one that is not. So your connector, let me just grab this one, will connect in here. That's a little, there it goes. So I'll have a BNC connector there. That's a 1/2 inch hole for a 1/2 inch, some kind of a mount there. I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to do that yet. But essentially this will sit somewhere. And if this is my truck, here's the passenger compartment, here's the bed, driver's side, passenger side. It's going to sit essentially like this, just behind the cab, with your 40 meter antenna going that way, and 10 meter antenna coming up this way. And what I'm thinking is this will be something that you can actually lift up and do like that if you want to. Now what I've done in the bottom here, I do have one hole for rain to escape if it ever got wet for some reason. And I've got two holes for two different BNC connectors. So you could have one here and you could have one here. Now, I'm not sure how I want to do this yet. It might just end up being one BNC connector and then that's capped. And essentially you would have your center pin here going to your connector here, and then from here to there. So your 10 meter would be connected to both, and it would act similar to like a fan dipole. Or if I want to have this one connect to, say, the 10 meter and that one connect to the 40 meter, and both of the ground will be common. So your grounds for this are going to be common between these two, and then it would be mounted like this. And so then I could just run two separate BNC connectors down from there. I'm not sure which one will work. I'll probably set it up to where it can work either way. And then I've got a cover, and then I'll make a gasket that goes here. And I'm going to thread this for 1024. So I'll thread that 1024. The cover will go on it. It will be completely self-contained. Now these are my cold welds where I'm froze to death. So don't judge my TIG welds. They're terrible, but I'll grind all this back off and it'll look like the other one. I'm thinking right here, either on this corner or in that corner just below the window is where my BNC connectors are going to come into the camper. That's what I'm thinking anyway. So that way, instead of it running down here and into the door like it is now, I'll have it come over to here, and then my BNC connectors will be, in this area and easy to connect. And when I want to disconnect, I just flip it off the wall. It'll be right there. So, but this is a way that you can do stuff if you don't have a press brake or some of the equipment that I'm blessed to be able to use. But even having that equipment, that's my cover. Even having the equipment that I have access to, honestly, sometimes this is just easier. It takes me a little bit to weld it, but there are actually features. So for instance, this thing here, the way I did this is I welded these four up, and then I've got this separate piece that once those were bent up, that piece got set on there, tacked in place, and then welded all the way around. So that's a box that I would have had a really hard time bending this on a press brake. You can see these nice radiuses here on either corner. You're not really going to be able to do that in a press brake well. So just by welding all the way around it and then blending it in, I've got a nice little box. Now I should have purged the inside with argon or something. So you can see the inside of my welds look kind of cruddy there, but honestly I don't care. It's a stainless steel box. It goes outside. It's not going to hurt a thing. I have considered maybe doing 3, so lifting these up a little bit, putting 2 here and 1 here, but I really don't know that it's going to be necessary. My intention is to have one high frequency antenna and one 2 meter 440 70 centimeter antenna. So your local comms would go through this antenna, your other stuff would go through this. So all your high frequency longer distance stuff comes here, and then everything else goes here. So anyway, what I've, just to give you an idea actually while I'm thinking about it. So this thing, all I'm doing is coming in here using my vise and just bending it in like so. So there's that bend. Then come around to this bend. And I made extras of these just because I had the scrap to do it. And it just kind of made sense. So then I'm going to slide this in here and bend this one in. And slide this in here. And, oh, shoot, you can't see anything I've done. You get the idea. Do that. Slide this one in. And, you know, basically just kind of hang it in like that. Dang it. Sorry, this is hard to do one-handed. So I've got it close here. And then all I'm doing is taking a dead blow hammer like this. Need a cameraman. And just bringing everything in to where it needs to be. Obviously, much easier with two hands. So, either way, you get the idea. But you don't have to have really, really expensive stuff to do a lot of these things. Yeah, that was cut on a $250,000 laser cutter. But I could have cut it here. It would have taken a little bit extra time on a plasma table. But if I say I didn't have a plasma table, and I've got a laser cutter. I've got a smaller laser cutter. So you can buy a laser cutter like this from anywhere from, what do you call it? I don't know, $200 to $300 all the way up to, I think this one was right at $800. And I think they're cheaper, quite a bit cheaper now. And I've been really impressed with this one. I don't remember what it is, but it's longer there. I've been really happy with it so far. It did not come with this. I ended up having to buy one to go with it. But you can take cardboard. So I've been saving a lot of my boxes and cutting stuff out of a box. So you could even cut that shape that you're going to fold into this, use it to trace on a piece of metal, take something like one of these and feed it in and cut everything, take a grinder, dress it up, and you can essentially do similar. Is it going to be as pretty and as fast? No. But I did a lot of that stuff before I had access to these tools. So it's nice to be able to do what I'm doing now. And it's nice to build up to a lot of this stuff. But if I had to start and I didn't have any tools, I would buy probably a 3D printer and one of those little laser cutters to begin with, because you can make a lot of stuff with that. If you've got something where you are going to make, you know, a bolt pattern like this, I could cut this out of cardboard or wood or plastic or something that thing will cut. And that gives me a way to test fit stuff. It gives me a way to, you know, I could easily take wood and do kind of what I've done here and make sure all of this is going to work. And then say you've got a bolt pattern that you've got to hold out of this, you can stack pieces of cardboard or wood and put it on something and use transfer punches, which are these. So you've got different hole sizes for different holes, and if you stack your stuff high enough, that will just sit right down in that hole, and you just hit it with a hammer, and now you've got a perfect start for a drill bit to perfectly drill the holes in the right place. So either way, I just wanted to do a quick video of some of this stuff. You can see I've got a massive mess in here. At some point I got to come in here and clean up, and my stinking chickens are getting on my table and just crapping on everything. So I've got to build a door, I've got to build a door over here, and I've got to build a door out there. Right now they're just open, so I can keep my darn chickens out of here. So I've got, you know, you can see the house through there. This room is not quite closed in. I've got a tarp just covering it right now, but I'm going to build a door here. That'll probably be the first one I build. Then I'll build one over here, and then I have to build one right there where you can see that hole in the wall. The idea was leaving that open so I could eventually walk out into this room. I've got to put a wall here. So in all reality, what I might do is, instead of building a door here, I might build a wall here. So we'll see. But anyway, yeah, just a quick little video. I will say that is an absolutely awesome welder. I've had that thing for years and years and years now, and it has been rock solid. One of the best welders to me for the money that I think you can ask for. So, been a fantastic welder. The TIG torch that comes with it kind of sucks though. So, there's that. But I think the newer ones are supposed to be better. So, anyway, but yeah, there's a little quick and dirty box that I've got put together. Eventually it'll be weatherproof. Those are weep holes for water to drain. That's for my lid that I have yet to make yet. I've got to get the hinge first, do some measurements, tack weld the hinge on here, figure out how much thicker that is, and then basically my lid is going to kind of come out and come down. And I'm not 100% sure how I'm going to make it shut yet. What I thought about doing is having the lid come out, down, and then have two things that come to the side here, and hole here, and a hole here with a piece of metal that's kind of pushing. So it's hard to explain, but basically create a spring effect. So you'd have a hole and a hole. You would rivet, weld, whatever, your piece up here and have a ball bearing in this hole on the bottom. So it would create a dent, like a spring-loaded ball bearing type thing down here. And when you close this, it actually would snap into a corresponding hole on the lid. So it would essentially match up to the lid here, and it would just be drilling two holes here and here, which again, I could make a little drill template out of whatever, something like that where it matches, or I could just laser cut another one and make it, I don't know, we'll see. So either way, there you go. New crap. Y'all have a good day. Bye.